Retail stores. When I was a kid, retail stores were a place of absolute beauty. You could walk around and there was so many displays and so many items and so many lights and sounds and things you could put your hands on. They truly were something special, even something super endearing that I'm very nostalgic for. But now retail stores? We'll see. So when it comes to video game collecting, are retail stores still worth visiting? Are they worth visiting in general, just as a place of, besides having cool items, but is there stuff to look at? Is it an actual experience or just a place to go and simply buy your needs? And there's only one way to find out. And who's up first on our list? Well, it's gonna be Target acquired. We're at Target. The Target I'm at has 4.2 stars and we are not starting out strong. Paul Rupert says the self-checkouts at this Target are never open. Then when you try to engage a friendly conversation with the cashier, they have absolutely no personality.
What kind of audience do we have here this evening?
I'm fully agreeing. The freaking cash registers, the checkout, self-checkout ones lately are never open at any Targets. What's the point? Carlos Estrada says, nice, clean store. Well organized, no lines to enter. I would hope not. All the usual Target stuff. As is can be a good thing. Antonio Neves says, or Neves says, one of the biggest Targets I have seen. You can find pretty much everything. Okay, we're gonna see if we can find a cat hat. If we can find a hat for a cat, then we can find that's everything. That's pretty much anything in the book. First order of business, can I find a hat for a cat? And then, what's the game section like? Is it gonna be a Wonderland, a pure spectacle, or just gonna be the Mario stripper pole thing? Like, there's really no point in looking at like the bedding section or the grocery or the clothes because it's gonna be what you expect, right? It's gonna be loaded with all the goods. My goal is to see if I can get any tingly feelings from that section. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, when I walked up, all the TV, of course it's gone. Oh look, all the TVs had Mario gameplay on it, which, you know, I'm not gonna lie, yes, it was lucky that I walked up at that moment, but it did something to me. It actually gave me 1 point for childlike wonder. Okay, not a bad start, but this is just not on. This is just not on. If it wasn't on, see, they need an employee like me. You gotta turn this stuff on, bro. It gives that much more energy when you walk in, just hearing this sound. So the Switch section ain't that bad. I will say most of the games are out. Like they're not even in there. Like they have the display games, but then there's nothing behind them. So they're pretty wiped out. Otherwise, a lot of controllers, a lot of colors. The Nintendo section I feel like is hard to have a letdown feeling because there's just so many colors that what's here is vibrant. Another point. Well, there he is. The old dirty boy himself. How do I get this thing off? Little trinket section isn't that bad either. You got this is cool. This is cool. And if this was actually vintage and someone custom made that stuff, that's awesome. Also over here, you can see as well, the plush section is kind of nice too. It's just colorful. But then we run into my first set of issues. And this definitely is not the fault of Target, but PlayStation. I like PlayStation. Actually more of a PlayStation guy over Xbox right now. But the colors in this section does nothing for me. It's cool, right? It's sleek, it's like Apple, but it's boring, like very boring to look at. Then you have Xbox, which is pretty nice, kind of similar to Sony's section. It's still nothing compared to Nintendo's section, but I gotta say it's not that bad. Big surprise section that I think is pretty nice to look at is like the PC rig area and all this stuff, just because there is some things lit up, there's colors going on, some RGB, just again, color. I wanna feel something. I put myself back in the place of myself when I was a kid and the way I felt going into places like this. This is not bad though. This is not bad at all. Ton of games just laying out that I feel like are supposed to be in like their places, but ooh, actually, I kind of needed this right here. The Karate Kid, the beat 'em up one, this was just sitting out. I'm actually picking this up. There we go. I bought an item. So they have like this collector's spot, which I'm sure you've seen at a lot of Targets, which I actually really like. It's a lot of like vintage inspired toys, but most of them are new. Well, they're all newer. I sound so stupid right now. But you can see it's things like Voltron and Gundam and Dragon Ball and Demon Slayer and Godzilla and Dumb and Dumber. Dumb and Dumber? Lloyd Cr approved. Yo, what's my favorite things is Pokemon, Sonic, what the crap is Pet Simulator, Minecraft, Super Mario. Jeez. Okay, low-key, this section is actually like super fire. I'm actually like this is awesome. You know, Target is kind of setting the bar right now. I am skibbity toilet. Going into Target, I had super low expectations for what to expect in a retail store. Yeah, I've walked into Target recently, of course, to do shopping, but I haven't really looked at it through this lens lately. As I walked around the video game section and the toy section, I wouldn't say I was blown away in the sense of like childlike wonder or feeling like, holy cow, but I will say it was much better than I expected. There was so many video games, and I have to say the toy section was better than I was expecting. There's a ton of throwbacks, just obviously calling them maybe even be cash grabs, but they were working. Just seeing all the cool items over and over and over again from my childhood, remade, was beautiful. And I have to say the biggest complaint I would have about it, and the thing that kind of kept me away from childlike wonder, it would be the sounds. Everything was kind of quiet. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff to play with and goof around with and to look at. It was nice, but I will say the sounds were missing. The bustle was missing. In modern days with Amazon and everything online, maybe just less people in there, it just felt kind of dreary and dry, although it looked nice. This might be the weirdest question ever. Do you guys have cat hats? Yeah, like any sort of like hats or anything?
No, anything that would be cat would be recommended.
Okay, thank you, man. I appreciate that. I know it's a weird question. No cat hats, I'm sorry. What the crap? This kind of counts. As I was literally about to make a joke. This is a cat wearing a hat. Stop what you're doing. Stop what you're doing. Listen up. I'm gonna change your life. I've always been overly obsessed with like the little handheld air dusters, but there's a major problem. They run out fast. I was sent this by Wolfbox, genuinely freaked out. So much because it is so versatile for things you can clean. My case with all my camera stuff. So different spaces. The cool thing is, so you hold this button in order to make it go. But now look, if you touch this, it's different blow settings. Lighter, just a light little blow, one up. You can change it to your liking, however hard. But let me show you this to get into different areas, different nozzles. Let's go look at them. Different types of nozzles that it comes with for different things. And there is literally as easy as just swapping them out like that. Big, open if you want like a more dense, like wide. The best, gotta say, I love blowing out the PS5. Speaker bar, TV of course. Here's actually one of my favorite uses, and that's for like mirrors in the morning, just to get them off nice and clean. I'm obsessed with washing my car as well. This is such a nice, easy way. Let's get it. Doesn't get much better than that. So just to reiterate how much I like this thing and how much I use it, I'm on vacation right now and I literally brought this with me. I'll leave a link down below so you can check it out and get it for yourself. Honestly, this is one of the cooler things, one of my more favorite products I've ever got. Again, if you know me on a personal level, all of them out there know I would have stacks of like the little cheapy ones, of the little air ones you use that get cold and like freeze your hand. This thing doesn't get cold, no water comes out. It's just awesome. Something you use all the time and just charge it, nice USB-C and all that. Link down below. Wolfbox, seriously, thank you. What an awesome product that I didn't even know I needed it until I got it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is like genius for me. So thank you guys, appreciate it. And now back to the video. Whoa. So, that was better than expected. Target. From me, for the sense of the video and what we're doing today, from me, you get a solid 4 from me. Target. Crank up some sounds, get some more lights in there, some more, you know, nothing's gonna beat the world of Nintendo. On to the next one. Juice it up. One of my favorite retail stores when I was a, okay, whatever. Hello, how are you? Good. Can I get a large strawberry wave with whey protein, please? That is it. Sponsor me. Sponsor me, Juice It Up. I'm here all the time. Did I show y'all the newest upgrades? I got Liberty's hood wrapped. There's some frost on it still. And then I got a bar. with some lights. Oh yeah, Liberty is being sexy, girl. The next stop we're going to is Best Buy, but not just any Best Buy. This is the Best Buy that Ricky and I used to go to in high school together, my childhood Best Buy. We used to go here all the time. It used to be pretty awesome. So we're gonna see if it holds up in modern day times. I'm gonna give it odds of it holding up a nice solid 60%. Green light. Best Buy clocking in with a respectable 4.2. Not bad. Oscar Magana says, if you came to buy a computer, but you weren't helped by a 6 feet tall piece of handsome man named Christian, you did not have the best possible Best Buy experience. Okay. Gabriel with 4 stars says, I used to go to Best Buy for everything. These days, it's becoming obsolete, almost like a Hastings. This is something we definitely need to touch on later in the video. This is huge. The retail market, where's it going? Lastly, Junie Chen says, very poorly managed store. Manager is not handling the situation well. All the eye rolling and blaming to their customer is not helping anyone. You need to clarify more. Oh man. The amount of times I walked down these stairs with Ricky back in high school is actually kind of crazy for me to think about. Yep, and we'd always park down there. I never park down there anymore, but that's where Ricky used to park. Ricky always drove cars that fit in parking structures. I always drove big cars that usually don't. Cannot stress how massive this store is. Look at that. Huge, huge, and just opened, so thankfully I'm not as embarrassed to talk to myself. Is this a toilet? What is this? Are these like today only type things or?
Sunday.
Okay, and these are like the good deals.
The
Sick,
top
man.
5, sometimes 8 deals, sometimes 4.
Okay.
8 deals, they do something.
Sweet, I appreciate that, man. That's good to know. Thank you, bro. I appreciate that very much. Gotta say, helpful employees already. I was just walking around and he's like, hey, here's a tip. Doorbuster signs are good. He wasn't trying to upsell me. He was letting me know. Funny thing, now this section I'm standing in right now, this is actually where Ricky and I used to come and buy CDs. Yes, CDs, compact discs for all you youngins. This is where all the CDs were. And we'd pick up our Bone Thugs and Harmony here, literally. Great start. Look at this. Look at that. Again, sounds though. I want sounds. Like, that's a weird thing for me. Maybe it's not for a lot of people. Maybe it's probably annoying for a lot of people, but I want to hear sounds. I see things to look at that look really awesome. But if there was sounds, So they do have toys here as well. It's nothing like the Target selection. Obviously Target's gonna have more toys, right? They have toy sections. This is more electronics, but they do have it. So as you can see, walking around the Xbox section, right next to it is the PlayStation section, and then you have the Switch section, of course. And I'm gonna say, it's not nearly as impressive looking as Target's. Something about it feels more dry, if that's the word. There's no kiosk here. I think they took the kiosk out during COVID. Yeah, it's just much more. Oh, they still have this section. This was like my favorite reason to come to Best Buy. Okay, I'm gonna show you this in a minute. Yes! I think there's no like Pole Mario. There's no really like playable units anywhere. And I feel like that's kind of what's messing with my head, is there's nothing I can kind of put my hands on within like the main console stations. All right. Check this. This is where I used to love to come. Look at, yeah, they still got the starlight twinkles on the roof. A little private movie theater. It's still set up. You could just come in here, have some playable demos going on. I'm sure back in the day, we would just take some candies from there. We'd pay for them, take some candies, take them out of the wrapper, keep the wrapper, pay for them after, and just chill and watch some trailers and previews and all that stuff. Man, this is awesome. It's wild that stores can still dedicate like entire rooms to selling like a atmosphere. Like they don't sell this furniture, but they're kind of showing like, this is what your house could look like with this 4K Ultra HD TV. Crazy. Now, their TV section is always the best, in my opinion. This is actually where I just got my recent 80-inch mega OLED, spent way too much money. Gabo talked me into it. I want another one, they're so good. Their TV selection is just amazing. I got told to stop filming. To be fair, the guy that asked me to not film was like, hey dude, it is not me. This is just corporate. I'm just doing my job. The guy was actually super nice, super cool dude. 0 points deducted. It was strictly because he's like, hey, that's the rules here, I'm sorry. Honestly, Best Buy was so much cooler than I thought. I would say like the gaming section was less than I was expecting as far as being awesome, but the tech section, everything else was super big, super grandiose. TV selection, electronics was great. Honestly, it was better than I remember. Maybe I was feeling a little nostalgic too in there. What I'm learning right now is I think my perception of modern day retail was much worse than it actually is. Yeah, it's easy to criticize certain things, right? It's easy to say physical media is going away. In certain areas it is, in certain areas it's not. But sometimes when you go walk around with an open mind, you're like, hey, there's actually a lot of this stuff still left. We gotta support it when we can. Oh yeah, I'm taking you guys somewhere really special right now, to Ricky and I and the whole show, and in general, everybody growing up in my life. This is Metro Point, Edwards Cinema Plaza. This was our childhood movie theater with Ricky and all my friends. The amount of times I've been to this movie theater is unbelievable. Like, this was something we did all the freaking time. We lived here. We saw every big movie you ever remembered from the 90s and the 2000s. This is where I watched it with all my friends. And my wife, who was girlfriend at the time. It's windy. This view, the amount of times that I saw this view and slid down this and got kicked out and chased by security for sliding down this escalator is a large number to count. This is where you'd always wait. It's one of the big movie premieres. We'd wait this thing all night. We'd be like waiting the Lord of the Rings all the way down here. Beep. I'll take one ticket to Jurassic Park, please. I mean, just look how cool looking this movie theater is too, by the way. Besides it being my childhood one, this thing is freaking awesome. I didn't even realize I was standing right by Color Me Mine. I used to take my wife on dates all the time here. Again, when we were dating back in the day. We need to go back, actually. As I'm thinking about all of this stuff and getting really nostalgic again, my old Navy that I used to go to and shop at with my then girlfriend, now wife, I think to myself, there's really only one place left I could imagine going in this video. I know where we're going. Long time no see, old friend. It is kind of nice to have this in here too. This is this is actually strong and well made. You know, it's not the fat plump Jeffrey that we had back in the days, but you'll still do, friend. You'll still do. Okay, so let's all be honest with ourselves. Is this like the Toys R Us of yesteryear? No, of course it's not. It's not gonna live up. I am actually surprised how big this is. It's actually bigger than I thought. I will say they did a good job with a lot of really big display items, and if you didn't know, they are back in some select Macy's. These are kind of nice. You know, they're not all my favorite properties, but it is very cool that they're still doing, like, you know, big character displays to kind of keep your eyes having something to pop at. What do you think, Spidey? You think this lives up? We both know it doesn't, but it's still really cool. Toys R Us was something else, man. It was really something else. Thinking back to Toys R Us in the 90s always stirs up a rush of nostalgia. The store was a wonderland of bright lights, colorful displays, and a constant hum of excitement where the sound of video games and toy commercials played in the background. It felt like a dream to walk down aisles packed with action figures, board games, and the latest gadgets, with shelves full of possibilities and adventure. The experience was more than just shopping. It was an immersive escape, a place where every corner promised something new and thrilling. Now, looking back, it's hard not to get emotional, knowing how special those trips were, and how they encapsulated the joy and the magic of childhood in a way that's truly hard to find today.